Osama bin Laden, is he dead or alive? Over the weekend, an audio tape was released in which the al-Qaeda leader praised the attempted Christmas Day bombing on a U.S. airliner. This new tape has led many to believe that bin Laden is indeed alive, but as with many al-Qaeda tapes, its authenticity has its skeptics. Joining me now, one of those skeptics, investigative reporter and RT contributor, Wayne Madsen. Wayne, I want to thank you for being here in our studios. Now, you're saying that you believe that Osama bin Laden is not alive, that it's not his voice on those tapes. Why do you think that, and where are you getting your evidence?
Well, many in the intelligence community doubt the authenticity of this particular audio tape because these tapes, both audio and some videotapes, are often found on these jihadist websites. We don't know who starts these websites. Anyone can start a website. But in many cases, it's a group called the Search for International Terrorist Entities site, an operation that's been linked to the Israeli intelligence service. So we don't know if this tape is authentic. And many people in the intelligence community also believe, until the full analysis is done, that this may not, in fact, be bin Laden's voice on this particular audio tape.
But do you think that he's still alive?
Well, we know from the late Prime Minister of Pakistan, Benazir Bhutto, she actually said in a televised interview that she doubted that he was alive because she said something about him being assassinated. Now, there was some recouping of that.
Who would he have been assassinated by, if not the United States?
Well, I think she indicated it was by somebody close to him in his entourage. But the thing with these various claims, there was a videotape also released last year where it was a bin Laden. It almost looked like a cardboard cutout figure of what we see here in Washington. You can get your picture taken with President Obama, the First Lady, Michelle Obama, and only the lips were moving. And a lot of people looked at that and said, that looks a little bit strange as well. So this search for international terrorist entities sounds a lot like the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And you might actually discover an extraterrestrial before you'll discover bin Laden right now, because many people also in the Middle East believe he died. Where he died is up to question. Was it in Afghanistan, or did he manage to get back to Yemen, his ancestral homeland, and did he die eventually of kidney failure?
Well, if this tape proves not to be Osama bin Laden, are Americans going to hear about this, or is this going to sort of be kept under wraps in the intelligence community, do you think? I mean, what's going to happen? And are we going to find out? You did mention this investigation that's taking place. When is that expected to come out? Well,
we don't know. And even if it comes out that it may not be him, bin Laden is the gift that keeps on giving for certain interests. Certainly, the whole counterterrorism industry exists because bin Laden has become the bogeyman to keep the fear factor going in the United States. And as long as bin Laden's alive, we have him to point to as the enemy. He's sort of like Emmanuel Goldstein in George Orwell's 1984. What would they do without Osama bin Laden?
Well, you know what else is interesting? Regardless of who you think is on that tape, I posed this question to columnist Glenn Greenwald earlier on, because Osama bin Laden in the tape mentioned, you know, Palestine and sort of the U.S. actions over there and in Gaza. Why do you think that the debate in the mainstream media and even among politicians isn't really ever framed around what effects could U.S. policies in the Middle East have back? What is that blowback effect? It's not really up for discussion. We don't really hear that often.
Well, certainly that's the case. And isn't it interesting? The issue of Palestine was never a big issue for bin Laden. It was the presence of U.S. troops in Saudi Arabia, the Holy Land of the Two Shrines. So why now, after the Israeli government is getting hit very badly on its public image, does this bin Laden tape arise, and where he's interjecting the Palestine issue again?
So are you talking about there's not a coincidence in the timing? Talk about the timing behind this tape.
Well, I think the timing is very, very strange because, as we know, just at the same time the tape appears, Netanyahu's saying that certain parts of the West Bank belongs to Israel forever. So obviously this tape comes at a very good time for the Israeli government's special interests.
Well, apparently a lot of different players involved. RT contributor Wayne Madsen, I want to thank you for being here. Well, news of the noose. The man responsible for the execution of 5,000 Kurds met his end today. Death by hanging. Ali Hassan al-Majid, also known as Chemical Ali, was executed today for crimes against Kurds and Shia Muslims. He was arrested 5 months after the U.S. invaded Iraq in August of 2003, and he was wanted for his role in the gassing of 5,000 Kurds. That was back in 1988. Also, the crush of the Shia revolt after the '91 Gulf War.